The lucky thing with this, everyone got to see the film. I have to say a thank you to Elon Musk, because without X, if we didn't have X, everyone would just think, I lied.
What we are seeing from Tommy Robinson is blatant fraud being committed towards his own followers, begging for donations based on blatant, provable lies. The facts I'm going to outline in this video are irrelevant to whether or not you agree with Tommy's politics, his stances on immigration, grooming gangs, or whatever else. It comes down to, is he telling you the truth when he's asking you for money? This all comes after Tommy was released early from his prison sentence on the 27th of May, after Tommy's admin finally deleted his infamous so-called documentary Silenced. Because of this, the judge ruled that he had a change of attitude. He emerged from prison unshaven, looking like Tom Hanks from Castaway. This was clearly a deliberate choice, as of course he could have shaved in prison. Tommy spoke to a crowd outside prison and immediately the lies began to flow.
Unfortunately, in a country that doesn't believe in free speech, being a citizen journalist, this place is an occupational hazard. It's ridiculous. The lucky thing with this, everyone got to see the film. I have to say a thank you to Elon Musk, because without X, if we didn't have X, everyone would just think, I lied. No one would have got any other narrative. Fortunately, I think, 167 million people saw the truth.
The favourite and most ridiculous lie of Tommy Robinson and his circle, that his so-called documentary Silenced was the truth, and he was in prison for telling the truth. I've debunked this entire documentary in detail from start to finish. I'll leave a link to that video in the description and pinned comment. One delusion that I regularly get from Tommy Robinson supporters surrounds the claims that Tommy Robinson made in Silenced about a 15-year-old Syrian schoolboy. They often tell me that Tommy merely said that the boy was troubled and a bully. To determine if Tommy lied to you in that documentary, we at least need to be honest about what he said. He claims that this child was a violent sex offender.
Well, there are testimonies from several children who allege they were being bullied by him. Younger children, little girls, mostly girls. Is Jamal the innocent victim, you've been told? Before my involvement in this story, a mother went online and said her daughter had been attacked by Jamal. A girl went online and said that she had been attacked by Jamal. And he was far worse than anything I said. Far worse. School incident reports record that he had been punching a much younger child in the face while holding him in a headlock, and he was pushed off him. It was a response to Jamal's alleged threats to rape Bailey's younger sisters. They were about 9 years old at the time of this. His allegedly abusive and violent conduct towards teachers and children was allowed to run unchecked. Why? I was told he'd violently attacked a girl. I was told he'd attacked someone as part of a gang. And I was told he'd threatened to stab someone. In fact, Jamal had violently attacked more than one girl.
Every single one of those statements you just heard Tommy Robinson say about this child were lies. When he was sued by the kid, he had to back them up in court, and he made an utter fool of himself. What makes this far worse is that Silenced was repeating far more extreme claims that Tommy made in 2 videos he uploaded to Facebook in 2018. In these videos, he said he had it as absolute fact that the kid was beating up little girls, kicking, biting, and beating them black and blue. He broadcasted this to millions of people and had literally no evidence whatsoever. Tommy not only repeated this slander in Silenced, but told a series of other, at times unnecessary lies throughout the video. I couldn't possibly have time to cover them all in this video, so again, check out the video in the pinned comment if you want more details. But to quickly cover a few of the most common lies that Tommy Robinson's supporters often repeat to me about Silenced. Firstly, there is no evidence that anyone was paid off to keep quiet about this incident. Tommy claims they did. He showed a figure of £275,000 on screen, claiming that it was hush money related to this incident. But what he really was showing on screen was the total non-gratia payments made by the council that year. It was a blatant lie. The other common one I get from Tommy Robinson supporters is, what, so were all those teachers in silence lying? Not one teacher was shown in that joke of a documentary that backed up Tommy's claims that the kid in question was beating up little girls black and blue, kicking them, biting them, threatening to rape little girls, stabbing students, bringing knives to school. Just did not happen. I know this may be a hard pill to swallow, but if you have donated to Tommy Robinson or Urban Scoop based on the idea that he was in prison for telling the truth in silence, you have been blatantly scammed. Unfortunately, this is far from where Tommy Robinson's lies end since he was released from jail. Days before his release from prison, Tommy was hit with criminal charges again. He was charged with harassment causing fear of violence against 2 journalists. And this situation has provided us with the next string of lies, which Tommy Robinson is using to scam the public. Since Tommy's release, he's posted a video whining about this in his car, and he's uploaded a quote-unquote documentary about this, both of which he used to beg for donations. So let's have a look at how truthful his statements are that he is using to ask the public for money. The first thing I found amusing about Tommy's new documentary is that Mr. Anti-Mainstream Media was heavily relying on footage used from BBC documentaries. A significant portion of the runtime was made up of clips that Tommy pulled from BBC documentaries about paparazzi groups and boy bands. The next tactic that Tommy used to set up his narrative at the start of the documentary was to show experiences that other celebrities like J.K. Rowling, Ant Middleton and Joe Rogan had with the media, even though they were completely irrelevant to his situation, as if to say, look what happened to these people, so the media must have lied about me too.
It's fair game for the media to harass them, follow them, smear them, lie about them, persecute them. But are their families fair game?
This was my oldest daughter. She was in her first year at primary school, and I unzipped her school bag in the evening, and among the usual letters from school and debris that every child generates, I found an envelope addressed to me and a journalist. Now, it's a journalist. The letter was from a journalist. I felt such a sense of invasion.
Let's have a look at this headline by the Daily Mail once again. Fury of female police officer who was assaulted by Ant Middleton. Now the truth is, this has never happened. Ant Middleton has never assaulted a female police officer. And then let's look at Ant Middleton's response. Get your facts straight and look up the term. I didn't and would never lay a finger on a woman. Now Ant Middleton now has to spend his time defending himself against something that's never happened because of the deceitful headline of the Daily Mail. Let's look at Joe Rogan, when the media turned the guns on him because he dared to speak out against the forced vaccinations during COVID.
This so-called documentary was off to a terribly desperate start. It quickly becomes apparent why Tommy relied on using examples involving other celebrities to defend himself. Once he attempts to defend his own actions, things just fall apart. It all starts with him attempting to defend the thing that the journalists from the Daily Mail he's charged with harassing were covering in the first place. His comments following the Southport killings that he made on social media before riots broke out across the UK.
Now this headline has consequences. Is there any truth in this headline? Was I instigating riots? How far did this story go? Well, just off the Daily Mail's Twitter feed, it was viewed by 14 million people. And once it went in the Daily Mail with this false headline, It went in The Independent, The Guardian, The Mirror, CNN. It went global.
Tommy vehemently denies that he played any role in instigating the Southport riots. He shows some clips to back this up, and this is where things go majorly off the rails. Listen closely to these clips from around the time of the riots that Tommy chooses to show you.
Now, was there any truth in the headline? Was there any truth in this story? Let's see what I was actually saying. Again, not what they say I was saying. Let's have a look what I was saying during this time of violence.
Now, I'd be saying to anyone that I know there's a protest tonight in London. Lads, you've got to remain calm. But again, I'll just reiterate, again, a total appeal for calm. Just an appeal for calm, man. Anyone going to London tonight? There's protest down the street outside Parliament for Prime Minister's questions, I believe. Try and bring the numbers, bring the noise, but don't bring any violence, man. Peace, love, our country is in the gutter. We ain't going to win it back by throwing a few rocks at coppers. Galvanise the country. That's what we need to do. Unite people. My message to people going out is be careful. Yeah, the level of violence, it won't work. Anyway, stay safe. Stop the violence, man. And to the men committing the violence, lads, those individual police officers who are coming out doing a difficult enough job have got families at home. They're ordinary people, okay? We had 100,000 people on the streets of London in a peaceful resistance. That 100,000 will become 250,000. 250 will become 500,000. A peaceful revolution is brewing in Great Britain. A peaceful revolution. And to the lads taken to the streets, in the towns and cities today, these young boys need leadership. Take their balaclavas off. Take their masks off. They're going to get years in prison. Okay? It's not helping the cause. So lads, in every city across this country, control your boys, man. Control them, direct them. A peaceful resistance is growing. I'm watching what's happening, and to the people who are saying I'm glorifying it, no, I'm not. I've appealed for calm the whole way.
That was outrageous. To any Tommy Robinson supporters who happen to be watching, are you going to let him blatantly lie to you to that degree? Are you going to accept him deliberately misleading working class people to scam them in such an egregious way? For those that aren't aware, what you just saw was Tommy cherry-picking clips from the damage control videos he uploaded after he was already in hot water being accused of inciting riots. This is what he actually said in the immediate aftermath of the Southport killings that he deliberately did not show you in his documentary.
So before people get on quick and condemn the angry men, that anger is justified. Okay? I'm surprised this took this long. And with your two-tier cowardice policing, you've actually encouraged the scenes you see tonight. You've done this. The government have done this. The police have done this. Your absolute cowardice has resulted in this. Children being butchered and murdered. And the problem is, no one can believe a word you say, because you continuously lie. Everything's a lie from you. No one trusts you. No one trusts your media. The entire nation is about to break down because of your foolish, weak, cowardly leadership. Stop the fucking boats. Get them out of them hotels. Get them gone. Put them on boats and send them back. Okay? They shouldn't be here. They're endangering the safety of our families. Men will rise up. They're always going to rise up. They have to rise up to defend their families. You've brought this war on our shores. You've brought danger on our shores. You cowards. So that anger you're seeing, and that's just before people condemn them. Yeah? Don't call them hooligans. They're justified in their anger. Yes, there's a better way to do it, but they don't see no better way. Because you know what? The government have told them we only listen to rioters, we listen to violence. That's the message that's been sent by these bastards in control. And these weak police forces, I bet they're not as weak tonight. And no doubt they're out protecting. Anyway, that's my little rant for the night, because it's fucking frustrating.
Why didn't you show that video to your audience, Tommy? The one that people were actually attributing to inciting riots in the UK. He could have actually shown the relevant video to his audience honestly and tried to justify why it wasn't inciting riots. But he can't do it. He's a pathological liar. It's become instinctive for him. He knows if he lies, he will get more money. Next, in the documentary, Tommy gets into his harassment charges. He describes what the Daily Mail journalists did that set him off.
They gave the location of where we were. Remember, they followed me in their story. I'm in the gym with my daughter. They're following and taking pictures of my innocent family members who face threats of violence and death, murder, all sorts. They gave the location and they published images of innocent people that were there with me. They didn't have to do that to run this story. If this was just about running a story, they didn't have to give the location. All of this could have been avoided if the Daily Mail just didn't give away the location. So why did they give away the location? If they didn't publish images of innocent family members, this is the reason I was frustrated.
Immediately, we have problems. The entire premise for why Tommy says he is mad with the Daily Mail journalists is based on lies. He says that the journalists doxed the location that he and his family were staying in for a holiday in Cyprus in a series of articles the Daily Mail published in August 2024. This is a lie. It did not happen. Tommy was openly posting on social media during this holiday, and in the process, he doxed himself. Tommy himself published this gym selfie, and from this picture, journalists were able to work out where he was staying. So for the rest of this video, keep in mind that Tommy Robinson is lying about journalists doxing him and his family. One thing that Tommy also loves to do is lie by omission, and his description of this situation is a great example of it. The reason why journalists were interested in Tommy Robinson's location in the first place was that there was an arrest warrant for him in the UK. He had skipped a court appearance, fled the country, and was in hiding in Cyprus, keeping his location a secret. Did Tommy share this context with his audience in any of the videos he uploaded about this? Of course not. He deliberately misled his followers by acting as if the media was just interested in his location for no reason. Now, let's listen to how Tommy describes the way he acted towards the Daily Mail journalists.
Then I turn the tables on them. So you know what? I'm going to ask you some questions now. I'm going to do what you've just done to me. But I don't go where they went. I say I'm not going to post pictures of your family. I'm not going to give you addresses because I think that's morally bankrupt. But you're scumbags. And this isn't the first time the Daily Mail have done this. I've got a history of what they've done. Yeah. So basically what they're saying, 2025 Great Britain, you cannot ask journalists questions.
So during the 2 days when I was on holiday with my children and they're facing threats and violence and all this is happening, I contact the Daily Mail journalists. I let them know that I plan to do a follow-up story where I bring a camera and I question them. And I video them.
For a start, while even trying to minimize this, the texts that Tommy showed on screen which he had sent to one of the journalists are mental. He says, "You've endangered my children. I'll be knocking at your door. Let your bosses know I'll be coming to all of your houses. Okay, got your address. We need to talk." If these are the texts that Tommy was showing to downplay this situation, Lord knows what else he texted them that he decided not to show. Let's have a look at what, apart from these texts that we know of, Tommy said to these journalists. Here is a video he uploaded to Twitter addressed to them. Now, he did at least show this one in his documentary, although he tried to minimize the hell out of it. Again, keep in mind that he is lying about these journalists doxing the location of him and his family.
The Daily Mail, who sent journalists to the hotel where I was with my children, photographed my family and gave away their location. So yesterday, 3 of their addresses, I got pictures of all of them, okay? And I've contacted them. You need to contact me, because if not, I am going to come here. You come where my children were, and you give their location. Is it, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Is it fair that I do that to you? You know I've got images of every one of your family. You know I know the locations of where you are, yeah? I'm asking you, is it fair for me to do that? If the answer's no, then stick to a rule book, lads, yeah? Now, you haven't thought about that with my kids, yeah, who have been upset for days now, who you've ruined their whole event. But to any other journalists, I will find you, yeah? Daily Mail editor, please get in contact. I don't want to have to do this, yeah? I really don't. I don't think it's right. So sit your wives down and explain to them what you've fucking done, yeah? So any other journalists who are thinking about trying to confront me, you do it in front of my kids. I'm coming for you, yeah? To your wives, let them know. To the wives who were photographed yesterday, know they've been photographed. To your daughters, I ain't sharing that online. I just wanted to give you a peace of mind to think about what you've done to my family, yeah? I'm sure you had some sit-down meetings with your kids. Because it's not nice, is it? It's not nice, yeah? Don't play stupid fucking games because you'll win stupid prizes, right? So you're on notice. Any journalist, I will find you, yeah? Just act respectfully. If you want to question me, question me. Do not give the locations or photograph or do anything in front of my family, right?
Along with that video, Tommy posted this to his million followers on Twitter. I've censored it, but he included the name and the face of what appears to be a photographer for the Daily Mail. He said he likes to locate and endanger families, which again is based on a lie. Tommy said he had located he and the rest of the Daily Mail journalists involved. After again repeating the lie that this person doxed his children's location, Tommy said, "I got all three of you tagged and bagged in one day." Tagged and bagged is a term for placing a dead body in a body bag. I can see some other examples of how this term can be used, but they don't really make sense in this situation, so I'm not sure what else Tommy meant. There's some more context that needs to be taken into consideration when we look at the vitriol that Tommy directed towards these journalists based on his lies. In 2001, Tommy received a 5-year stalking order for harassing a journalist. He hired a private investigator to hunt down her location, came to her house late at night, and began shouting, telling her to come to the door and accusing her partner of being a pedophile without any evidence. He told her that he was going to come to her house every night. Tommy knows when he puts people on blast like this, they are swarmed with violent threats from his followers. I have spoken to several people who have experienced this just for criticizing Tommy online, including women. When Tommy threatens to hunt people down and approach them in their house in this way, you need to also consider that Tommy himself has a long history of being a violent criminal. He has been jailed for assault multiple times, going as far back as 20 years ago. And if you search for it, there is no shortage of video footage of Tommy Robinson committing violent thug acts. So, if you can't see how this harassment caused fear of violence as these charges suggest, then you have your head in the sand.
Now, out of everything you've seen, I now face prosecution. I have been charged criminally. I face 10 years in prison for saying I want to take my camera and ask these journalists a few questions. The evidence used to prosecute me is me telling them I'm going to come knock on your door with a camera and ask you questions.
Given all of these blatant lies that Tommy Robinson has told to manipulate his audience and paint himself as the victim, the major problem with this is that he continuously uses these lies to beg for money.
I also had to go to London during the day to see my lawyers and barristers about fighting this latest trial and case. Now, this is what lawfare is about. It just ties you up. £3,000 yesterday, 3 grand. So we'll be in court for the day. It's just costs. Then I'll go not guilty. Then I get put to another court. We go to Crown Court again, costs. Then we have a trial, days and days of a trial, preparing for it. Anyway, thank you if you supported me. Website fight.com. We go again.
And now I will have to fight over the next 12 to 18 months through the courts in this country at the cost of tens of thousands of pounds to stay free. I faced prison for attempting to ask journalists some questions. 2025, Great Britain.
As the lawfare continues, unfortunately, once again, I need your support. To be able to fight this will go into the cost of tens of thousands of pounds. The process is the punishment. If you can stand with me in this battle, please go to .com. Thank you very much.
This is blatant fraud. Massive, widespread fraud if you consider how long Tommy has been doing this act. I will be covering more of Tommy Robinson's content in the future. He invited me to himself after I did a post last year tagging him and criticizing him for suggesting that his mate Andrew Tate's victims were paid off by Hope Not Hate. Tommy gave me this video response.
Just watch my Hope Not Hate documentary, mate, of the expose. It shows that they paid Jada Fanson £20,000. That's not, if you watch the whole interview, you're watching a little clipped, edited version. If you watch the whole interview, I wasn't talking about Andrew Tate's victims being paid any money. So, I was talking about Panorama, why I don't believe Panorama, because I know that Hope Not Hate act as a middle source to pay people to lie on Panorama. Panorama then give you, the public, the news. And if you watch my Panodrama expose, I prove all of that as well. So, have a good day.
Tommy may come to regret this. I watched his Panodrama expose. I have a lot to say about it, and what I have to share will make Tommy Robinson look incredibly silly. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss this one when it drops.